Hey, what's going on guys? Chad here. This is Pulsar's brand new Superglide Mousepad. It's their first glass mousepad. Pulsar did send this out to me for review, but I'm gonna give you my unbiased, honest opinion like always. I'm gonna break this video up into a few different sections. First is gonna be the unboxing and impressions, and then I'll have 3 different sections on the 3 different games I played, which were Quake, Apex, and Counter-Strike, and then we'll wrap it up with what I don't like about it. So the unboxing experience here was phenomenal. It really was. This thing came so well packed. I felt like I was unboxing like an award or like a plaque that goes on my wall or something. It was crazy. It felt so high quality, so premium, and so well protected. It was really nice packaging. As soon as I got this pad out of the box, I really loved the aesthetic of it. I think it just looks super dope on my desk. The base is also crazy on this pad. It's definitely the grippiest pad I have ever used in my entire life. This thing has not budged one time, and I literally would have to put so much pressure on it to get it to move. They did a great job with the base of this pad. This pad's available in 2 different sizes. I got the XL here, which is $95. They also have a large that's $85. The XL is pretty much the perfect size for me personally. I haven't run out of space or hit the edges at all or anything like that so far. I can get my whole arm on here and I have a lot of room to move around and swipe. When I first started using this, I was actually kind of surprised by how much texture is on here. I thought it was going to be really slick and smooth like Pulsar's glass skates are, but it's not really anything like that at all. It's a much more controlled feeling than I initially expected. I honestly thought my aim was going to be all over the place. Now don't get me wrong, this is a really fast pad. It's very low dynamic and static friction. You know, you can just blow on your mouse on this thing and it's gonna move, but for some reason, like whatever it is with this texture, it makes it feel manageable for me. And like, I've never been able to aim well on fast pads. So when I aim in games, I have the base of my palm right here touching. I kind of point like this, and then I use my fingers just to kind of go around like that and make adjustments. And then if I would need to do a swipe, I'll kind of lift up the pressure. It looks like this, go over and then replant like that, right? So I'm just constantly like doing this when I play. And I found it really fast for these small adjustments with my actual arm. They're really smooth and quick compared to cloth where it's like pulling on me all the time, and it just feels kind of like grabby and almost muddy on my actual skin. And that's a huge advantage for me personally on this pad. Now keep in mind, it is like 20 degrees outside right now and there's no humidity in here right now, so that might be an issue later on in the summer. Another thing that's great about this is you can put a hoodie on and then you can game with your hoodie on, and it's not gonna like mess your aim up, at least for me. Like, I don't know how guys aim with a hoodie on a cloth pad. It just messes my aim up so bad. But with this pad, I can actually put a hoodie on, keep my arm warm, and then my aim is still good to go because I'm not like getting resistance from the pad. Another thing I like about it is you don't have to worry about the same problems you do with a cloth pad, like how good is the stitching, is it gonna fall apart, is the pad gonna slow down over time, like what if you spill a drink on it? None of those things matter at all with this pad, and this thing feels pretty durable so far. I've used a lot of different mice on it, probably like 30 mice, and I've just sat here and just tried to scratch it up, and then I would look at it in the light and I haven't seen any scratch marks so far. So that's a really good sign. One thing to note though is you don't want to use this mouse pad with glass skates because you'll scratch it up. But yeah, so far none of my PTFE feet have damaged it or scratched it, and I've been intentionally trying and it's all good so far. So the first thing I do when I get a new product that I want to test is I load up Quake. And the reason I do that is because I used to play it at a pro level, so I'm very familiar with that game, and nothing really comes close in terms of testing products or finding defects or just fine-tuning my aim. I can always jump in Quake and figure something out or get my aim dialed in perfectly or just warm up or whatever it is. If you've ever played Quake, then you know how hard the movement is. And my movement on the Superglide felt so fluid and natural, and it really helps with dodging a lot in Quake too. My movement and dodging was noticeably better from the extra speed on this mouse pad than it was on the Saturn Pro, which is currently my main pad. But yeah, tracking and flick shots felt fantastic. Micro adjustments are just cake on this thing because it's so low initial friction. You can just barely move your mouse. Like, it's just so easy, especially with me fingertipping. Like, just the tiniest little adjustments feel so easy on this pad. It really is nice for that. I only played a little bit of Apex on this because it's kind of similar to Quake in a lot of ways, like with the speed and the way I aim and stuff. But just like Quake, movement is very important in Apex, and I don't have the best movement in Apex because I don't play a whole lot of Apex. Crouch sliding is better on here because that low initial friction just lets you barely move your mouse and then push it forward, and you get really good crouch slides with this. But yeah, my movement felt great on this in Apex, and like tracking and flick shots was very smooth and again very consistent, which was really surprising. I expected to be just all over the place and overshooting everything, and it wasn't like that at all. So the last game I wanted to test was Counter-Strike because it's a slow tack shooter, and I was sure this pad was gonna suck in Counter-Strike, and I was just gonna overshoot everybody and die instantly. But that is not what happened at all. I was actually frying people in Counter-Strike with the op, some pistols, and a little bit of AK action. Everything I used, it felt great. And I don't play a lot of Counter-Strike anymore, but I do like to go in there and test every now and then when there's like something specific like this. And I really was blown away at how good this felt in a slow tack shooter. It just feels great in everything all around. It's kind of nuts. And you know, it's usually a good sign when you're on a product for the first time in a certain game and you get called a hacker in that game that you're feeling pretty good. All right, so let's talk about the cons of this pad, because there's definitely some, and I'm not just trying to overhype this thing. Even though I do love it and it's gonna be staying on my desk, there are definitely cons, and I always wanna have the pros and cons in my videos, of course. So the first one that I notice is it just sounds terrible compared to a cloth pad. Like, listen to this. It's like nothing. So it's pretty loud, as you can see, but if you get like a piece of dust or like hair or something underneath your skates, you're gonna feel it and hear it even more. And it's almost like jarring. It's like, oh my gosh, what the? Like, you feel like you're just scratching the crap out of this thing if something gets stuck under there. So you want to keep it clean as much as possible for sure. The other thing I've noticed is it's like cold to the touch. So if you have cold hands and you're trying to warm your aim up, it can maybe like take a little bit longer to warm up. And then it makes me concerned about summertime. Like, is it going to be sticky when it gets humid outside? That's, you know, I can't test that right now because it's cold outside. So that's the other thing I'm concerned about, but we'll see how that goes in the future. Finally, the last con I have is the price on this thing. It's crazy. You know, $100 is a lot of money for a mouse pad. I'm sure the packaging takes up a lot of that, but still, it's just very expensive. Now, for someone like me who is naturally competitive, I'm always trying to get the edge. Personally, I think it's worth it. If you like fast pads or glass feet, then this is definitely an awesome experience, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, that's all I have for this pad. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below and I'll try to get to them when I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.